Hello, amazing developers. Welcome back to our journey of full stack resume builder application. And this is the day two series. If you caught on a day one video, you know we dove deep into the realm of user authentication and set the foundation for the secure and user friendly app. Today on day two, we are taking it to an up notch. In day one, we mastered the art of user authentication, ensuring your app's users have a seamless and secure experience. If you haven't watched it yet, so please click the link in the description below and go ahead and watch that video. And now for the day two, we are stepping into the world of admin controls. Ever wonder how to control the entire data flow of your website through the admin privileges and everything? Well, buckle up because that's exactly what we are going to do now. So, without wasting your time further, let's jump into the video. All right then, so over here we can see we have logged in with my ID over here and it's showing that add new template. So basically this add new template, it's need to be visible only for the admins. So right now I'm going to fix only two of my accounts as an admin account. None of the accounts are going to be an admin, so that option will not be visible. So we are going to hard code that ID in our local machine. So what I'm going to do is, so open your Firebase project which you have created, and there you can see the Firestore collections for the users. Inside that we have certain IDs which I already logged in before, and I'm going to set these two accounts as my admin account. So let's jump into the project, and over here I'm going to create a new folder called utils. Let's create a new folder called utils. Inside the utils folder I'm going to create a new file called helpers.js. All right, so inside the helpers.js, now all we have to do is to create an array. So export const admin IDs equals to an array, and here I'm going to keep a string. This is a string array which is going to carry on our two different IDs over here. So I'm going to copy this ID and paste it over here. And let me copy this one too, copy and paste it over here. All right, so now we can access this ID, and I need to restrict this access over here. So how we can do it, jump into the header.jx and find out the place where we are displaying the add new template, right? That's the place where we are adding that add new template. So what I need to do is I need to cut this part, and let me open a conditional rendering options over here. So here I'm just going to say admin IDs. So we are accessing that array which we created dot includes. If that admin ID dot includes the data dot UID, because that's the user ID which is we are using over there. If the logged in user ID is inside this admin ID, then I need to display this option and I need to render it. So save the changes. So now here it will shows the template if I sign out and if I log in back, and if I log in back with a different account, for instance, let's say with this account, that add new template will not be visible over there. Look at that. So let me sign out and let me get back to my admin account. Okay, so this is my admin account, and now I should probably able to see that add new template. So this, if I click this, that is taking me to the template create. So we successfully integrated the admin part, like for the navigation purposes. And the next thing is like how to create an add new template screen, and how to add the templates to your cloud, and once it's added, how to get back and display it over here, and how to edit and delete all those options. That what we are going to do next, one by one after another. All right then, so let's open the home screen.jsx. So open your home screen.jsx. So here we need to manage the main routes, because this is the place where we are going to render all these sub pages and everything. So when I click add new template, when I click this add new template, this is the place where I need to render that add new template page. All right, so to do that, all I have to do is to create the main route. So first I need to make this to full screen. So let's bring it as width to full. And inside this custom routes, this is the place where we are going to define our custom routes. So let's bring the same stuff what we did initially. All right, so over here, I hope we have our main spinner right now. So this is the place where we have to use the fallback. So if any issues, so that should load this main spinner. Now let's start our routes. Inside this route, first I'm going to create a route path, initial path. So initially we need to load the element of the home container. This is the place where we are going to bring the home. So this is the main home screen. So inside this home screen, we have the sub home page. So that's the place where we are going to display that sub home page. So we already have inside the home, we have the home screen. So let's go to the container and create a new file called home container. That's a main container which we are going to display initially. And let's say RAFCE, save the changes, and let's export it from here. Let's say this is a home container and export it in the same name. And now over here, I just have to use that name, home container. And let me make sure that it's being imported from the containers folder allow, like this. All right, so if I say this changes, now you should be able to see the home container, because that's the initial route. It's been rendered in the home screen, so you should be able to see the home container. And now if anything is coming like slash template slash create, make sure this URL should matches your header.jsx there over here. So both should be same. So say these changes. And here, if this is supposed to be rendered, then let's go to the pages and let's create what we can say, create template.jsx and RAFCE, save these changes, and in the index.js. The reason why I kept the home container separately, because we do already have the home screen, so that's the reason I kept it in the separate folder like a container. But now for this create template, we are keeping it as a separate page itself, so don't get confused. So to avoid the naming conventions, I just keep it in a separate folders. So just follow me here, so you will be fine. So now the create template has been created, and let's import it over here. So that is going to be imported from the, not from here. This is supposed to import from / pages, just like that. So save these changes. All right, so now we can see we have the create new template. And now if you click that add new template option, so you should able to see the create new template over here. So just like the same way, we need to bring for the user profile also. So let's create a new page over here for user profile.jsx, and we need to bring one more page where the user can edit their resumes. So let's create and name that as a create resume.jsx. So this page is for the user to alter or edit their resume for which particular template they have been selected. Save the changes and close it. And then we need one more page that is to display that template details. Like for instance, if you choose any template over here, so we need to display that template details, right? So that's the thing that we need. So then I'm going to create one more like template design pin details.jsx RAFCE, a very big name for this. All right, so let's go back to the home. We don't need the home container. Let's customize it later. Create template and home screen, and let's open this index.js. Now we have to export everything whatever we created. So we have to export the create resume, and we have to export user profile, and we have to export three more things, 1 2 3. So we have to export create resume, and we have to export user profile, and we have to export template pin details. So copy and rename these things. All right, so now everything is being exported, and now let's jump into the home screen. So this is for create template route, save changes. So for profile, the route should be profile, and I'm going to send the parameter as UID. This is a parameter, URL parameter. So add the colon right after the slash. We need to send the user ID so that we can fetch and display the user ID over there. To that, I'm going to render the user profile from the pages. Then I'm going to bring one more route, and that is going to be resume. So this is the separate page, resume. After this resume, whatever the link can be, if it is a template ID or if it is a template name, based on the parameter what we are sending, we need to fetch it and we need to display it on that particular page. On that, I'm going to display the create resume. All right, so then we have to bring one more, and this is going to display the resume detail, and I'm going to send that template ID. Over here, we are just going to display that template design details, design pin details. All right, these are the routes that we have created. Now the template create is working, and if you send the profile and whatever the ID that you are sharing, and if you hit enter, that should display the profile URL, the user profile component. And if you are sending like resume slash or something, a random ID, so that should display the create resume page, and resume detail enter, and that should display the template resume detail. And now all we have to do is to go and add new template. That's it. That's what we are going to do next. We are going to customize the create new template just like the same way what we are looking over here. All right. All right then. So now all we have to do is to customize this template just exactly the same way over here. So if you watch it closely, so this UI, it's been customized it a little bit. So one second. Screen over here. Yes. So if you look at here, we're having this entire template, right? This is the screen that we're having, and we break it into two equal halves just by using the grid systems. We are going to break it into two half, not equal halves. We have to break it into two different columns. So on a small screen, this exactly the entire part over here, it will be wrapped under this big container over here. So we can use the grid layout. So whatever the design that you have, whatever the screen that you're opening your web app, so the entire screen will be break into 12 points. So this UI, if you think about this, this is the UI screen, and if you think that it's having 12 different points, so how we can break it into 12 different points? We can break it in 4 4 4 like 3 times, or 3 into 4 4 4 like 4 times, so 6 6, and like equal halves. So based on the grid points on the screen points, you can break it, you can align your grid layout over here. In this case, I'm going to break this into we can say we can take the complete 12 columns, and we can keep it 4 columns for this left side and remaining 8 columns for that right side part. All right, so that's what we are going to do now. So what we have to do is jump to the create template, and then over there, so let's start creating the UI. So let me enable the word wrap. All right, so here let's jump to here. Let's say class name. So of course it should take the width, complete width. Then px, normally it's going to be 4, but from the large device onwards, px it's going to be 10, and the extra large device on 2xl, the px is going to be the 32. Padding top and bottom, of course it's going to be only for every screen. So I'm going to keep the grid template, and the grid columns initially it's going to be 1, but from the large screen onwards, I'm going to break this grid column into 12 points. All right, Now inside here, I'm gonna bring two sets of divisions. I'm gonna bring two different sets of divisions, which is going to display the left container and as well as the right container. So for the first one is going to be the left container. Let's bring the div, and the second one is going to be the right container. So add the comments wherever it's possible, so that will really helps you to understand your code much better for later purposes. So for this inside here, I'm just going to have like 1 and 2. Say these changes. So far you can see it's not occupying the complete, but the grid is working, but it's not taking the entire thing that's as it's supposed to be, because we break it as a grid 12 point. So we need to mention how many column spans that it's going to access, because it's break it into 12 different columns. The remaining 12 columns are empty. So we need to make sure how many columns that this division needs to activate, and this division how many columns it needs to take, right? So to do that, all I have to do is to say class. So basically on mobile screen, this should take the column span 12. That which means on mobile screen, it should take the entire available screen. But when it comes to large screen, on LG, from the LG device onwards, it should take the column span 4 different columns. On extra large devices 2XL, it should take the column span 3. Say the changes. Now you can see this one is taking 4 columns over here, because we are in the large screen, so it's taking 4 columns. Just like the same way, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to alter the number alone 12 for the mobile screen, and for large screen I'm going to take it as 8, and from extra large screen I'm going to take it as 9, because 3 columns are already occupied, so the remaining columns is like 9 columns. So now everything is fine. All right, so if you want to make sure, let's say bg blue 200, and over here bg red 500. Now you should see it's how much colors it's been taking over there. All right, so for this I don't need any color, so let me delete that color code. And this is supposed to take the complete width and everything. Flex 1 and flex, and let's say item center, and justify the content on the start. All right, and of course it's going to be in the column direction, so flex column direction, and gap between each and every object should be 4, and padding left and right it's going to be 2. Save changes. Maybe in future if we need the padding on top and bottom, we can add it later. So first what we have to do, we have to bring this paragraph tag. So let's say over here, instead of this, I need to bring that particular line. So let's keep it inside a division, and inside here I'm going to have a paragraph tag. This is going to say a class name. This is supposed to take the full width. All right, and this paragraph tag is going to be text size is going to be LG, text LG, and text is going to be txt primary. Save the changes, and that's how it should look. All right, so after this, what we have to do, we have to bring this the template title and template. So I'm over here, you can see here it's displaying the temp ID, like temp ID. So basically it's showing template 4, which means we are trying to create a new template, and that particular template ID is template 4. Later I'll show you how to bring this template dynamically based on the record what we have, because this is the template name that we are supposed to create in our local file as a component. So we need to make sure this template and the local component what we are trying to create over here should have the same name, because each and every template over here is a unique template. For that we need to create a unique component to make their UI looks different, right? In case if you're having a common UI, even if you're having a common user details, but the UI is different, so we have to create a separate template components to make sure that their UI looks completely different, right? So this part, let's leave it for time being now. All we have to do is to just create dummy records over there, and then let's say this is the template ID section, comment it, and let's bring a div, and let's say the class name is going to be full, and flex item center, and justify the content completely in the end paragraph. And here I'm just going to say temp id colon, and let's say this class name it's going to be text base, and text txt light, and everything should be in the uppercase, and font should be in the semicolon. So that should bring this temp ID over there. So right after this paragraph tag, this is the place where we are going to display the template name, right? So copy this, and I'm going to paste it over here, and this is going to be SM, and this is going to be txt doc, text doc. Okay, so text dot, and font it's going to be bold, and it is going to be capitalized. All right, so this is the, for the time being I'm just going to display the template IDS template 1, something like that. It should look like that. All right, but what we have to do is later we have to, instead of hard coding this like a template 1 or template 2, we have to display this ID dynamically. That we will worry about that part particularly later. And then next thing what we have to do, we have to bring this title name. So let's go ahead and bring the title. So right after this division we have to bring the template title section. So that is just, it's going to be an input field. So to maintain the template title, we have to create a state, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to create a state to monitor the template title and the image URL. So I'm going to keep, we're going to group the form data together. Like here, what are the things that we do have? We have the template title and we have the image URL. So we can group these two together, and this form, this is going to be a separate array. So let's keep that particular section as a separate array, right? So to do that, all we have to do is to create a state. Let's say use state, use state. Use state snippets. Let's say over here this as form data, and I'm going to have an object inside this form data. So inside this object I'm going to have the title. Initially the title is going to be an empty string, and as well as the image URL, and that is going to be the null. Save these changes. So these are the two important things that we are going to create, and I'm going to assign that title for the that input field which we have created. So for this input field, of course, we need the placeholder. So placeholder is going to be the template title, and the value which is going to be from the form data state, we have the title. So that is going to be the value of it. And on change, every time whenever there is a change is happening, I'm just going to call a function called handle input change. This is the function that we are supposed to call, and let's create that function over here. So this is for handling the input field change. So const handle input field change, and let's get the event from there so that we can get that like what to say, we can get that targeted element and as well as the target element value itself. So from there, so const is from that event which it's been triggered, I'm going to get the target element from which it's been triggered. From that element, I'm going to access the name of that element and as well as the value of the element. So using that name, I can set the form data. So set form data, I'm going to get the previous record, because we need to get the previous record from the state, and then we need to update that information over here. So over here, I'm going to get that previous record, and I'm going to spread that previous record completely. Previous record, we got the previous record dot triple dot Hmm, previous record. Then inside that previous record, I'm gonna fetch the field name. Then I'm gonna update that field name with the value. All right. So whatever the state it has, we are going to get that complete previous record. So using the spread operator, we will get the previous record and we'll keep the previous record exactly as it is. And now in the previous record, I'm going to override the specific field for if I am typing it in the input, and if the name is in the event, if you're getting the name of that input field as the title, so then I'm going to update the title field inside this object state which we have, and I'm going to set the value. For instance, let's say this is the place where everything is been happening, right? So over there, now all we have to do is to set the type as type, and then name of the field is going to be the title, right? So we are getting the name. So this property should be exact same as this property. So whenever the changes is happening, if the name field in the name field, if we get the title, so this title field will be get updated with the exact value what we got from that input field. Okay, so that's how we are going to update the input field, and value it's been there on handle change, it's been triggered. All right, type, and now all we have to do is to start writing the customized styles. So width is going to be full, and then px it's going to be 4, py it's going to be 3, and rounded it's going to be medium, bg it's going to be transparent background, and we should have a border, and the border color is going to be gray 300, border gray 300, and the text size it's going to be lg, and the text color is going to be primary color, and on focus the text color should be dark color whenever the input field is being focused on focus. And as well as the same way, I'm going to change the shadow as medium, and outline I don't need anything. This is not focused within, this is supposed to be focus. Save these changes, and now if I click, you can see if I focus this, you have some shadow, and the text color is going to be dark color. Initially it looks little bit lighter, but when the field is focused, the color will be changed. All right, so now the input field is successfully created. The next part is going to be our the file uploader, the place where we are going to upload the template designs and everything. So that's what we are going to do next. All right then, so now what we have to do is we have to bring that file uploader. So let's go ahead and create a file uploader. So this is the place where we are going to say file uploader section, which means the not a file, which is going to be an image uploader, the cover image. This one, the cover image. If you notice here, if I choose something, so I can able to choose an image, and if I choose any image over here, that image will be directly uploaded, and you can see we have the progress bar, and we having this toast animations, and the image is uploaded to the server, and it returns back, and it's been displaying over here. If I wish to delete it, that image will be deleted instantly from the cloud, and as well as it changing the UI also. So this is the part that you have to do in this particular section. Now what I have to do is I'm going to create a div, and I'm going to write a styles for that, which is going to take the width completely full. Let's bring back to our design, width full, and bg gray is going to be 300, and backdrop blur medium, and height I'm going to fix the height for the mobile screen, which is going to be 420 pixels for the mobile screen. Then from the large screen onwards, I'm going to fix the height not more than that, like 620 pixels. Then on 2XL, that means extra large device, I'm going to fix the height as 740 pixels. All right, so now let's keep this round and medium, and the border it's going to be 2, and we are going to have the border as dotted, and border color it's going to be gray. Let's keep it as 300, and it's, of course it's going to be cursor pointed, and flex everything should be in the center, justify center. So save these changes. Now you should Okay, we messed up something. Oops, this division is supposed to be right after these input field. That's what we messed up. Yep, now it's fine. So I don't need this background color anymore. It's looking awkward. Save changes. All right, this is how it looks, just like over here. Okay, but why we have the BG color border? Okay, so BG gray, let's keep it as 100. Fine, now it's looking fine. And now inside this division, now all we have to do is to bring that image assets and everything. So that's what we are going to do now. So now let's create a state. So we have to create a state to monitor the images and everything. So just like the same way, let's say use state snippet, and this is going to be the image asset. So for this image asset, so we are going to create an object. Inside this object, so we need to keep three different information. One, the asset URL, and two is the asset loading state, and three, asset progress state. So is image loading, that's the state. Initially it's going to be false, and image URL, and that is going to be the null, and progress, let's say progress, and let's keep that as 0. So we can keep this as URI itself. We don't need to keep it as image URL, because basically we need to get this image URI and we need to put it into our form data image URL. So let's keep it as two different variables so we don't get any conflicts. Even if it is the same, that doesn't matter, because we are using the parent object is going to be image asset, and the parent object over here is going to be the form data. So that's not an issue. So we don't need to get confused ourselves. So let's keep it as a different name, so we will never get confused ourselves again and again, right? So now what I need to do is, so okay, so give me a minute, 1 second. Where is here we go. So now what we have to do is, so inside this part, this is the place where we are rendering. So if we have an image asset, so if you think about it, if you have an image asset, we need to display that asset URL, or else we need to display this click to upload option. So I'm going to check a condition over here, like if image asset is loading, if the image asset is being loading, then I need to render a React fragment, which means a component over here, or else I'm going to bring one more React fragment over here. So save changes. So if it is loading inside this React fragment, I'm going to bring a div class name, and that is going to be flex column, item center, justify center, and the gap between is going to be 4. And over here I'm going to bring that puff loader, and the color of that puff loader is going to be the exact same color what we have used for our main spinner. So 498 FCD, and the size of it is going to be 14. Save changes. So let's assume for the time being the image is being loading now. So let's change the states to true. You should be able to see that puff loader over there. And just like the same way, underneath it, I need to bring the image progress. So the progress percentage of that image asset. So let's bring that image asset. Inside the image asset, if I have the progress, and I need to fix that progress into 2 decimal places. 2. After that, I need to display the percentage sign like this. So that is supposed to be displayed like this, 0.00% for the time being right now, because image it's not been uploaded. So later we will update the state, so that will be displayed over here. So let's get back and change this image loading as false. Now we know how the image loading state will looks like. So image is not loading now, so we are not getting any of this. Now inside this React fragment, so if it is loading, it's going to show the loading state. If it is not, it's going to show the another 2 different part of that uploaded, which is nothing but If it is not loading, which means you either have your image asset URL or you don't have the image asset URL. If you have an image asset URL, we need to display something. If you don't have, we need to display something. So here, this is the place where you need to check if not image asset dot URI which means if I don't have the asset URL, then I need to display a component over here, react.fragment if else I do have to display something else, react.fragment save the change. If I don't have the image asset URL, what I need to do, I need to display this part. So inside here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a label. So for this label, I'm going to say class name. Of course, this is going to access the complete width. Cursor is going to be pointer, and of course the height is also going to be full. And inside here, I'm going to have one more division, which is going to say class name, flex column, item center, justify the center, and height, of course, it's going to be full, and the width, of course, is going to be full. And inside this division, I'm going to bring one more div, class name, same flex, item center, justify center, and the cursor pointer, and the flex column direction. And inside here, I'm going to have a paragraph tag. Inside this paragraph tag, we are going to display that icon, or else this is the place where we need to display click to upload, and we need to display the file upload icon like that. So we should able to see that icons over here like this. It's taking some time to render. Okay, it's fine. So now for this, if you want to change some styles and everything, class name, let's change the style. Let's say text 2XL. The size of that icon is going to be 2XL. Save the changes. Okay, so that's fine. For this, click to upload, class name, I'm just going to say text LG. Save the changes, and the text txt light color. And for this, I'm going to increase the gap as 4, so that I can able to have some gap in between these icons. All right, so that's looking fine. So, and right, once the place where we are finishing the label, this is the place the label is being completed. Here I need to bring an input statement, input, and the type of that input statement is going to be file, and the class name, it's going to be width. I'm not supposed to, because if you're not giving this, see what's happening. You should be able to see a option called choose a file. So we don't want to choose this, we don't want to see this, but if the user clicks this, we need to bring that select a file option, right? So that's the thing that we have to bring it over here. So to achieve that, what I have to do is, all I have to do is to say width 0, height 0, and this should accept, it should not accept every image, it should accept the JPG, then .jpg, then .png. These are the image format that we are allowed to accept. So these are the image format that we need to accept. So remove this unwanted space, we don't need this unwanted space. So .jpeg, .jpg, and .png, these are the file extensions that it needs to support. And on change, whenever the changes it's been happening, I'm going to call handle file select. This is a method that it needs to be triggered whenever there's a changes on this file. So handle the image file changes. const. Okay, so now all we have to do is to get that event over here. So let's get that event and let's make this function as asynchronous function, and let's say const file equals to, from the event target, let's get the files. In that files we do have the in the first index we have the information about that file which we selected, because basically we have two property, length and as well as the files information. Files information is the first property, so that will be in this first index on that array. So save this changes and let's console.log that file whether everything is working fine or not. And let me open the inspect elements, go to the console. It's a warning, fine. Close this, and now if I click this, that is opening the file selection option, and you can see it's not showing any other images extensions. It's showing only the extension which is supportable and which is acceptable over that input field. And let me choose this any kind of templates whatever I'm having over here, or I can go to this and choose the resume builder and choose the images. So these images I already dropped it in the assets link and it's already attached in the link description, so please go ahead and you can find this template 1 and template 2 and template 3. So if I choose this, you can see we have all the informations about that template or the image which we selected. What is the image and what is the image type and what's the name and what's the size. We have all the necessary images which we have. Now all I have to do is to send this file to the Firestore database, Firestore storage, and we have to get the download URL, and using that URL we need to display, right? That's the part that we have to do in the next. All right then, so now we have the file informations which we want to upload it into the cloud. So all we have to do is to upload the file. So let's go to our firebase.google.com and let's open our Firestore project. Resume builder, YouTube, and I hope we already enabled the storage as well as storage. Yes, we already enabled it. So inside the storage only we are going to upload that all the images and everything. Let's make sure whether the rules and everything it's been already enabled. Yep, so rules and everything is already been enabled, so that's fine. So now all I have to do is to here. So we are getting the file information over here. So first I need to update the state. So we need to make sure that change the UI. Looks like it's loading, it's processing that image. So let's say set image asset. So we'll get the image asset and we'll get the previous asset information. We'll get the previous asset information, and then using that previous asset information, I'm going to update that image loading state as a true. So now if you look here, close this, if I click this and if I choose any image, and you can okay, so it's not changing the state. What's the problem? What might be the problem? So this is the line where we are getting an issue. Refresh it. If the image asset is loading, if the state is loading, so of course that is supposed to be changed, right? What mistake are we making? Come on, think. Yeah, now it's working. So maybe it's taking some time to render it. I'm not sure. I just refresh it. It's working fine, which is exactly the same thing we have. Okay, anyways, it's working. So now we have the file information. So let's bring that file. We change the state and we bring the file over there. And now all I have to do is to make sure whether the file type is inside the allowed type or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file, another method called is allowed. So const is allowed equals to, and I'm going to send that file as a parameter inside here. So I'm going to check allowed type, allowed types equals to. So I'm going to say these are the allowed image types like JPG, JPG, and JPEG and PNG. These are the things, image slash JPEG, JPG, and PNG. These are the allowed types. I need to make sure whether these files is the file type which I selected, which is comes under these kinds of extensions. So let's say allowed types dot includes the file dot type. So we will send the file type to this, make sure the selected file type should be inside this any of the allowed types. If it says so, then it will returns as true. So if we have the file and if we have that allowed file types also, the return answer of the allowed file type is allowed file. So by default, anyway, we are going to have the file data. So it's going to be true and we are sending the file to this is allowed. So if the file type is inside this, then you are going to get the answer is true. Then this condition will be true. Then it will start uploading the process. If it is not inside this, then it will returns a message that the allowed file type is not supported or something. So open it. Else, what we are going to do? The else part is going to be the easiest part because we are going to throw an alert message. Let's say toast, which we already install that alert notification dot info, and we are going to say that is going to be invalid file format. Anyways, we are not allowing the user to choose apart from any other styles, but we are making sure that we are allowing the user the very specific file only, file type only. So double verification, that's it. And now if everything is fine, then we need to create a storage reference, the place where we are going to store. So let's say storage ref equals to, using the ref method which is coming from your Firestore. So all we have to do is to import that message, reference message, which is coming from one second, which is coming from your Firestore storage. Let's say import from Firebase / storage, and now you should be able to see that suggestions from the Firestore storage, and you can see it's imported over there. So now all I have to do is to open it. So from the firebase.config.js, we exported the Firestore DB, and as well as here I need to export one more thing, import from Firebase storage, and let's say get storage, and let's get that storage information and keep it inside the storage variables. Let's say get storage and supply the app, and let's export that storage from here. Save the changes. Let's use that storage object over here, storage object which is coming from firebase.config.js storage. Then and you need to supply the file name, we need to supply the folder location, and inside that folder location, what is the file name? So you are going to be, so template, it's going to be templates, that's the folder name which you are trying to create. And inside this templates folder, I'm going to join date.now, the current time string in milliseconds as a number. Then along with that, add the hyphen sign. Along with that, get the file dot name, append the file name, right? So that's the storage reference we are trying to create. And now all we have to do is to start the uploading process. So const upload task, that the object which you are creating. So upload resume bytes resumable. So if you are not sure what I'm typing over here, what is byte resumable and what is the reference and everything, you should go through their official documentation, go to their official docs, Firebase documentation, click the fundamentals, sorry, go to the build folder and click the storage, and there you can able to see all this information. Click the web and click upload files, and there you can see what is the storage reference which we created and what is the reference object that we are trying to do, and how they are referring the storage location and as well as the name of the file, and how to upload and get the progress details and everything. So there you can find over here what is the um, mm, mm, mm. get started. So somewhere over here you should be able to find out the bytes resumable, where it is create references. Nope, download files. This is get download URL, the place where we get the download URL. Nope, nope, nope. This is supposed to be inside the upload files. Upload, they're using upload bytes method. So we are going to use the upload bytes resumable. That's the method that we are trying to use. But upload, here we go. This is the one. Upload task. Using the upload task, we are going to use the upload byte resumable. This is the exact same strategy that we are using now. See, we created the storage reference from the firebase.config, and we are creating the storage reference over here. Where it is. Okay, come on. Here we go. We created the storage reference with the storage object which we are of our Firestore storage, and the file name, what we are exact file name that we are trying to save. Then we created the upload task using the upload bytes resumable. We are supplying that storage reference and we are supplying the file data which we want to save. And using that upload task, once the state changed, once the state started to change, we are going to get the upload progress answers. Every progress, or like how fast it's been getting uploaded, we are getting that progress informations, and as well as we are getting the error. If in case any error is happening, we'll get the error, and at last we'll get the download URL also. Once it's successfully uploaded, you will get the download URL by using the get download URL. So all you have to do is to go through the official documentation. That will really help you to understand what exactly has been happening. So using this upload bytes resumable, inside here I need to supply the storage reference, and as well as I need to supply the file which I want to upload. That's the selected file which I have in my hand. All right, so now we have that information. Then all I have to do is to say upload task. On upload task, if there is any change, on state changed, if there is any state change, I'm going to call a callback function. So well, this function is for your the progress information, and the second function is to get the error. In case if there is any error, all I have to say is to toast dot error, and let's say error calling, and let's say error dot message, what error message it's been appearing, say this changes. And right after this, if there is no error, then we need to get the download URL. This method is to get the download URL. All right, so here I'm going to get the snapshot. So snapshot as a parameter. Inside here, all I have to do is to figure it out how they are calculating the progress. So you don't have to write anything else. You can see we have the complete answer over here. Just copy it from there, and then I'm just going to keep it inside our state. So let's say set image asset, open it, and here I'm just going to get the previous asset information, and then I'm going to spread that previous asset, and inside the previous asset all I have to do is to use the progress, and it is apply the progress. Okay, so that is a mistake. Okay, one second, brackets are missing. Open the bracket, and open this normal brackets, and inside this we need to open that functional bracket, then spread the previous asset, comma. Now we have all the previous assets information, states informations over there. Inside that, I'm going to update the progress informations, which is going to be this. So every time whenever it's being uploaded, I just going to change this. So snapshot, spelling mistake. So save this changes over here. Fine. Save this. Now it will calculate the progress, and the progress state will get updated every single time, and the previous state will remains the same. Only this progress state will keep on get updated every time whenever the image is being uploaded byte by byte. All right. Then we'll get the error message. We need to make sure the error message, and we need to figure it out, because sometimes you will get the error message like you are not authorized, or it failed due to network problem. So we need to make sure whether the user is authorized or not. So I'm just going to copy this. Inside here, I'm going to open a function, and I'm going to write a if statement like if error dot message dot includes storage slash unauthorized. Don't make any spelling mistakes. So this is the condition that we are trying to if it is unauthorized, then we are just going to throw an error authorization revoked, something like that. If it is not, we are just going to throw that error message, what kind of error message it's being throwing out. So we need to make sure whether the user have the privilege to upload that template image or not, because maybe in the future you might have we might have a multiple admins and over there, so that we need to make sure that whether we have the complete privilege to upload it. So I think I messed up with something over here. The object opened and closed it, opened and closed, comma is missing. That's a problem. Save these changes. All right. So now here, all I have to do is to get the download URL. If there is no error, of course, it's going to trigger this. So if there is no error, so I need to get the download URL. So basically, this get download URL is coming from your Firebase storage, a default method. So I'm going to supply that upload task dot snapshot dot reference. In that upload task, whatever the reference we are sent it, we are going to send that reference. Then from it is going to return a promise. From that, I'm going to get that download URL, and I'm going to put it inside the state. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it over here. This time we are not going to update the progress. This time we are going to update the URI, which is going to be the download URL. Save the changes. So now if everything is successfully fine, we have the URL, download URL and everything. So if this is downloaded successfully, which means this is downloaded successfully, and I'm going to send a message the image uploaded to the server, like file uploaded successfully. Let's say toast.success image uploaded. And after the certain interval of time, I need to remove the state from true to false. So set interval like 2 seconds. After 2 seconds, once you got this alert message, after the 2 seconds, I'm going to change this image state, set image state, loading state as false. Save the changes. All right. So cool. Now let's get back here. That code will work perfectly fine. So if there is no URI, this is going to be rendered. If there is a URI, that means if there is a URL to display an image, what we are supposed to do. So we are supposed to create a division, class name, and position is going to be relative position, and width, of course, it's going to be full, height, of course, it's going to be full, and overflow, it's going to be hidden, and rounded, it's going to be empty. And inside here, I'm going to bring a division image, and this image is going to display an image asset.uri. and the class name is going to be Vetrivel, and object cover. And the loading type is going to be lazy loading, because sometimes if it is a high quality image, it will take some time to load. So let's give it as a lazy loading. So save these changes. I hope there is no mistake so far. Even in the console, there is no mistakes. Let's refresh it as well. As no mistakes so far there. Cool. So now if I click this, so I should be able to select an image, click it, open it, and it's loading the progress. You can see 100% uploaded, and it's showing image uploaded successfully. And now it's loading that image also, which means the image is uploaded successfully to the cloud. Over here, let's get to the files, and you can able to see we have a templates folder which is created over there. It's created a folder called, where it is called templates, and inside this templates you can see the time string and as well as the file name which we selected, which means the file is successfully uploaded and it's been displayed over here. Now all I have to do is to add the delete privileges, because if the user wants to change this image, he selected the wrong image and he wished to change, so I need to add the delete functionality as well as, and that's what we are going to do next. All right then, so now all we have to do is to scroll down the place where we are displaying the image. This is the place where we are displaying the image, and right after here I need to bring a division to display the delete action. So let's bring the delete action button over here. So div, let's say class name, and it's going to be absolute position, and the top is going to be 4, and the right it's going to be 4, and width is going to be 8, height it's going to be 8, and rounded medium, flex, item center, justify center, and the BG it's going to be red 500, and the cursor is going to be pointer, and inside here I'm just going to display the fart trash icon, and the class name it's going to be text sm, and the text color is going to be white color. So you should be able to see a delete button over there. So now if I click this, I need to call a method called delete an object. So here I'm going to say on click delete an object, or okay, delete an image object. Let's give it, this is a function I need to call. So let's copy this, scroll up. This is the place where the handling function has been completed, minimize that, and this is the action to delete an image from the cloud. So const, open it, and this function is going to be an asynchronous function, enter. And now all we have to do is to call the default function. So first we need to create a delete reference. So let's say const delete reference for that storage. So using the ref method, we will supply the storage information of our app, then supply the image as a URL, sort URI. Fine, now we have the delete reference, and using the delete object which is coming from your Firestore storage, Firebase storage, using that I'm going to send the delete reference which we created. So using that URL, that will delete that image and it returns a promise. Over here all we have to say, just copy this, toast success, copy it from here, and now let me minimize it back, and over here I'll paste it. So what I'm going to do is we are going to get the previous state, and we have to change the progress to 0, and as well as we have to change that image URL, not image URL, that URI as null. Okay, fine. So by the time when it's deleting, we have to change the state of, make the state as true, right? So we have to copy this, and we have to change the state to true. Image loading is true, then it will become false once it's successfully deleted and everything, and the change the message as image removed. Fine. Now let's make sure whether everything is working fine or not. So if I click this, it's showing image removed, and it's changing the state over here. Okay, so if I go here, if I refresh this, we are not supposed to get that message. All right, fine. Okay, so it's working perfectly fine. So anyways, I'm not going to change the loading state as well as let me delete the loading state. All right, so let's make sure whether it is working fine or not. So if I choose an image, I can select it, and that is changing the loading state. Image uploaded. Okay, that is some issue. What's the issue right now? I'm not sure. Let's refresh it. Let's delete this image. Are we getting any console now? Because we're having a fraction of issues seconds over there. Click it, choose a file, open it. It's uploading. Image uploaded to the server. It's loading the image. If I click this, it's saying image removed. Yep, it's image removed from that. So instead of deleting this guy from here, we'll change this initially itself, then we'll remove that. So now let's check it out, because that is a few fraction second it's missing, because it's taking some time to delete this from the database. So we'll make the local state initially null by default. Once you click that, it will remove the local state. Then it can take that few seconds time to remove the image from the cloud. So if I choose that image, template one, open it, loading, uploading, it's uploaded, and it's displaying that image. And if I click that, yep, it's removed, and it's successfully removed from the cloud as well as. If I go here and if I click here, we are not going to have any image because we deleted that. All right, so we successfully finished that image uploading part, and it's working perfectly fine. So the next part what we have to do is we have to work on the tags. You can see whenever I click this, I can able to highlight these tags. If I click that, it will be disabled again, right? This is the part where this is the part we have to create in the next part. That's what we are going to do next, the keywords. All right then, so now all we have to display these tags. So I already collected some tags. Let me copy and paste it over here. So you can use the chat GPT to generate the tags for yourself, or you can copy these tags from the description below. So let me create a public gist URL from my GitHub. So GitHub profile. Let me create a new, where is it, new gist. So from here you can copy that code. So I'll create this, let's say, resume builder helpers code. So let me paste it over here. So you can copy it, create this gist. All right, so I can copy, you can access this. So this is the link I shared in the description below. So if you copy that link and if you open it, you can access this gist URL. So you can access all these codes, the support codes, whatever I'm writing, copy and pasting, you can access from there, which I already shared it in the link in the description below. So please go ahead and open that, and you can copy this and paste it in the helpers.js and jump back to the create template over there. So now all we have to do is to figure it out where this file is being ending. This file is being closing over here. Right after here, we need to get the tags section. So let's bring a div. Let's get back here, div. This div is going to be class name, and width is going to be full, and flex, item center, and flex flex wrap, and gap is going to be 2. And inside here, let's render the initial tags and everything. Initial tags dot map, using the map method. I'm going to get that each tag, and I'm going to get that index of that tag. render it, open it, and I'm going to create a div, and I'm going to supply the key to avoid the warning issues, supply the index numbers over here, and inside here we are going to display a paragraph tag. Inside that paragraph tag, I'm going to display that tag name. Save the changes. Now you should able to see all the tags over here, but why it's not showing? Oops, server has been stopped, so let's restart the server. All right, so now we are able to see all the tags whatever we have in that, so it's displaying over there. So let's start customizing this styles. So class name, so if you notice here, by default it's having some border styles and everything. If I selected it, it's been pushed to a separate array called selected array, selected tags, and if I click that, it's again from the selected tag, it's been removed from there. So what I need to do is to, all I'm going to do is to create a separate method to handle this. So over here, first I need to create a state. So where is the state? Okay, here. So use state. Let's create a state for selected tags. Let's say selected tags, and the selected tags initially is going to be an empty array. So I'm going to create a separate function to handle those tags. So const handle selected tags equals to, so whenever I'm calling this function, I'm going to send a tag name, what tag it's being selected. Then first I need to find if the tag is already selected or not. Check if the tag is selected or not. So if selected tags dot includes the tag which user clicked, if it is already there, we need to remove it. If selected, then remove it. If it is already selected, then remove it. All right, so to remove that, what I have to do, set selected tag using the filter method. I'm gonna remove everything. So set selected tag using the selected tags dot filter, not filter. So the selected tag from the selected, let's say selected, should be selected should not be equals to the tag. So if I click software engineer, so that means it's already selected. If I click that again the tag will be passed over here as a selected engineer. So I'm just going to figure it out whether the software engineer is already inside the selected tag list or not. If it is already inside, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to filter and I'm going to return every single element except that software engineer. That's the part what we are trying to check over here. Return everything except the selected one. So now this will return everything except that selected one. If not, we need to push that into that selected tag. Selected tags, open it, open an array, return everything previous selected tags, and return the, push the new one. All right, so this will be handled properly whenever you are trying to click that division over there at the bottom. Whenever we are trying to click that division over here, so on click, we are going to call a callback function, and I'm going to call the handle selected tags, and I'm going to send the tag, what tag that the user is trying to click. So save these changes, and I'm going to alter the UI styles based on the selected tags. So by default, it's going to load the border, and the border gray color is going to be let's say 3, and px it's going to be 2, and py 1, rounded medium, and cursor is going to be pointer. And if the UI I need to figure it out, if the tag is already selected, then it should be in a blue color, otherwise it should be in a normal without any background and everything. So what I'm going to do is dollar open it. So if the selected tags dot includes the tag what it's being rendered, then which is already selected, so it's supposed to be blue 500, and the text it's going to be white. If not, I'm going to keep it as empty so far. So inside this tag, I'm just going to keep the text size as text XS. Save changes. Let's go here. You can see it's looking like this. If I click this, and it's showing selected tags is not a function. On click, okay, so where we're from, which line we are getting an error? Console. Okay, so this is supposed to be set selected tags. My bad. This is supposed to be set selected tags. That's the mistake. Now if you click this, see it's changing, but the padding, it's not looking so good because the style is not applied. Now that is looking fine. If I click that, that will be removed. If I choose it, that will be highlighted so that the user can choose what kind of tags that he wants to select it from the available tags list. If he wants to remove it, he can simply remove it. All right. So the only one thing that we have to do is to now, that is to, we need to add the save button, then push this complete stuff into the database. That's what we are going to do next. All right then, so now all we have to do is to start creating the button which we have to display. Okay, so here now what we have to do is, this is the place where our division is being ending. So here I need to bring that button actions. So for this button, what I need to do, I'm going to say the message as save, and I'm going to keep this button type as button, and the class name is going to be width, of course it's going to be full, and bg blue, it's going to be 700. Text color is going to be white, and rounded it's going to be medium, and padding is going to be 3. Save the changes. This is how it looks. All right, so when I click this, I'm going to call a method called on click push to cloud. This is the method I'm going to create. Copy, write the place where over here, this is the place. So const push to cloud and async method, and it's going to be an arrow function, not arrow down function. All right, so here now all we have to do is to first create the document object model. So first we need to create a document, the collection type, the document type. So let's say, so I need to get the server timestamp on what exact time it been created. So let's say const timestamp equals to server timestamp. That's the method provided by the Firestore that will return the timestamp. So get that object and generate an ID. So const ID is equals to get the time string using the date.now method. Date.now method will returns the number of milliseconds elapsed since midnight. So it will get that date and it will returns it in the milliseconds in the number. So that means the ID will always be unique. So then get the const underscore doc equals to open it. That's an underscore doc is the object variable which I created, and I'm going to send the underscore ID which is mapped to ID, then title which is coming from form data dot title, then image URL which is coming from image asset dot URI, then tags, it's going to be the selected tags, then what is the template name. So this is the place where we need to figure it out what exactly template name that is, because since we don't have any templates in the cloud, right? We don't have any templates in the cloud, so we haven't fetched the templates details. So based on that template details only, we need to give the name for it. So name, so far we just keep the template name as template 1, but we need to change this after that. So then I need to get the timestamp colon timestamp. So this will create the doc. So now what I need to do is I need to fetch the templates informations first. So I need to get that list of templates which is available in the cloud. So then I need to, using that, I need to find out its length. Then I need to change the template name, what name that we are trying to create. Because if you notice here, we have 3 templates in the cloud, and currently we are trying to create the template 4. If we have 4, it needs to be template 5. So that's what we are trying to achieve over here. So to do that, we have to fetch the template informations from the cloud. So let's go ahead and create the template informations. To do that, we need to create a custom hook. Let's go to the hooks and let's create a new hook over here called use templates.js. And over here, all we have to do is to const use templates. It's use the exact same name, open it, an arrow function, and inside here I'm going to get the use query hook from the React query, use query, open it, and that's going to return the data object and is loading state and is error state, and the refetch function to refetch that state informations. Then this is the stage that I'm trying to create templates, and I'm going to call an asynchronous function to fetch that data, and I'm going to return a try and catch, try and catch in case if there is any error is happening when you are trying to fetch the details. I'm going to send the toast console.log what error it's been returning, error, then send an alert notification as an error, something went wrong. So let's try to do over here. So here I'm just going to get the templates, const templates equals to await get templates. This is the method we have to create in the API, then returns that templates object. So what we need to do is all we have to do is to jump into the APIs folder, API index over here. So this is the place where we are getting the user details. So just like the same way, we have to get the we have to get that complete templates information. So let's export const. Let's copy this name, copy and paste it over here, equals to, okay, so return new promise, an arrow function, and this is going to take 2 different parameters, resolve and a reject, 2 different parameters. And here I'm just going to say const template query, because we are going to create a query string to query the collection, because I need to fetch the query based on the timestamp what it's been registered, because the new template should be always on the top. So query, which is coming from your Firebase object, so query, and I'm going to give the name, collection name. So the collection, Firestore collection, the DB of instance from the firebase.config. The collection name is going to be templates, which means the table name in the database. Then, and order by, using the order by method, I'm going to order by the method based on this timestamp object which we are trying to push into the collection object, timestamp, and arrange it in the descending or ascending orders. Okay, so I'm going to keep it in an ascending order. Then const, I'm going to create a listener event, const unsubscribe equals to, it's just an object name, you can keep whatever name you want, using the on snapshot. So this is a listener, will constantly listen to any modifications inside that particular collections. Okay, so I'm going to execute the template query, and I'm going to get that query snap, return a callback function. From that query snap, I'm going to get that list of templates objects, const templates equals to query snap dot docs. From the docs, I'm going to use the map method, and I'm going to get that doc information, and I'm going to get that doc.data information and put it into that template. Then what I need to do, I'm going to resolve that template. So that will resolve and it will return back. So then I need to stop listening this event. So this is the place where it's getting ended. So return and subscribe. Save the changes. Cool. So now we have to import this get templates. Let's import this get templates. So let it is imported. And then after this async method, I'm going to say refetch on window focus. By default, it should be false. And then finally, at the end over here, when the function before function ends, I need to return the object whatever we fetch these objects. We need to return the data, we need to return this error, we need to return this loading, and we need to return the refetch. And finally, all we have to do is to export the default as use templates itself. This is the hook that we are trying to export. All right, so here all we have to do is to get the template information, because in the React query you have only the user state. So we need to bring that template states as well as. So over here, this is the state where it's getting ended. So over here, now what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to get that the state information. So const open equals to use templates from the hooks. So that is going to return the data is loading, is error, is loading, and refetch. So maybe you might use at different states as well as. So keep more specific. This is the templates data, and this is templates is error, and this is templates is loading. This is the alias name that we are trying to given for the default object, and this function is referred as templates refetch to avoid the conflicts, because when you are using multiple states, because that's the same object that we are getting for every single hook, data, error, is loading, refetch. So we need to give an alias name whenever you are trying to use it to avoid unwanted conflict, right? So now there is no error is throwing up on, because this page is being successfully loaded. So if I refresh this, okay, our server is being stopped. Why? Every time my server is being crashed, I'm not sure why it is happening. So let me clear, maybe due to some issues with my machine right now. So let's start the server, yarn start. Okay, it's starting. It's loading now. And now we can see there is no mistakes at all. It's created, it's showing the templates object, and we are having an empty object because there is no templates collections in the database, and it's returning an empty object. And if you go here and if you check your Firestore database, you can see we have only the user collections because we don't even have the templates, right? Because we have to save it. Now to do that, what I need to do is, so we all did this single part for what? To get this dynamic name over there. So first we have to display the dynamic name, then I need to add the dynamic name over here. So to display that dynamic name, what I need to do is, okay, so this is the place where we are displaying the dynamic name, right? This is the place. So what I'm going to do is enter, open the templates. I need to find out whether the template object is there or not. If the templates object is there, if the templates length is templates.length, the length is greater than 0, that means I need to display a dynamic string literals template, and along with that I need to join the templates length, templates.length, templates length plus 1. Okay, if there is no templates, if there is the complete array itself, it's an empty, then I just need to display the default as template 1. Save the changes. Now it doesn't matter how many times you refresh it, it will always returns the template 1. That's because the template's length is not greater than 0, it's equals to 0, so it will return the template 1. Once you added one data, that means once you push the data into it, the length will be greater than 0, so it will returns the template length plus 1. Okay, so because it is why the reason we are adding the plus 1 is because if you insert one data, the length of that array will be 1. So which means it's already have one data in it. So I'm not supposed to display the value as template 1 anymore. I need to display the template as template 2 because we are trying to add a new template. So the template 2 will needs to be displayed. The reason what I'm trying to say over here is we have 3 data in that array and it's showing the value as template 4. Yes, because we are trying to add a new template over there. So that's the reason. So this is the thing. Copy the same stuff and then replace it over here. Oops. It's better for us to type it manually by ourselves. Maybe the reason is because of this. All right, we are trying to check the templates. If the template is greater than everything, save the changes. Now everything is fine. Cool. So if everything is there, all I have to do is to say console.log underscore doc. Let's do the console log and let's make sure whether everything is we are getting the data or not. Let's say sample data and let's choose an image from here. Open it. Software engineer, delete this, choose, and let's click and inspect elements. Go to the console, and if you hit the save option, you can see here we are having the image URL. We are getting the name as template 1. We have the templates array, and we have the timestamp, all the necessary informations which we needed. So now all I have to do is to push this data into the cloud, right? So what I'm going to do is, anyways, I'm just going to delete that image, refresh it. Let's keep it clean. Then we know that we got all the data now. So all I have to do is to set this data to the cloud. So set doc, using the set doc method, I'm going to make sure I wait on this particular line. Set doc, open the doc object, open the DB instance from the Firebase, then give the templates name. Basically use that exact same name which you are fetching from the API. So templates, then supply the ID of the document and then supply your data underscore doc. So this should returns a promise. If everything is perfectly, what I have to do, I have to remove all these informations over here. I need to reset the complete information. So let's say set from data, get the previous data. So open an object and spread the previous data. Then set the title. The title field, it's going to be an empty string, and the image URL, since we haven't used this image URL, we just kept it for the name's sake. Okay, anyways, that's fine. Then set image asset, we'll get the previous assets information. Using the spread operation, get the previous asset informations, then comma, let's make the image not image URI as null. Save the changes. Then selected tags, set selected tags as an empty array. So we have did everything, and finally what I have to do is to refetch the templates. So templates refetch. Using this method, I need to get the updated data and I need to update our local states, right? So that's the reason I'm refetching that. So this refetch method will trigger this API one more time and it will get the updated data and it will put it over here, right? Once everything is done, I'm going to say toast.success data pushed to the cloud. Say the changes. While doing this, if we are ran into any kind of error, so error, if we are ran into any kind of error, all we have to do is to get that error message and we have to display that error message over there like this. Save changes, and this is supposed to be error. All right, so let's make sure everything is working fine. So let's give a name as the title is going to be professional resume for software developers or something. Click it, choose the template one, click open. It's uploading. So this resume for software engineer, front end, back end, full stack, web developer, UI, graphic designers, and yeah, I think this is enough for even for project manager as well as. So click save. All right, you can see data pushed to the cloud, and you can see it's automatically changed the template to 2 because we are trying to push a new template. And if you go to your state and if you click the templates, okay, so there is some issue with the data over here. See, we can't see the data. Let's make sure we have the data in our collection. Templates is there, document is there, and you can see all the details are over here. But the problem is it is not fetching properly and it's not updating the state properly. That's a problem. If I refresh it, even now it's not getting that because that is some issue. So we have to check and resolve that issue. But we got our data in the cloud. It's working fine. So let's fix that bug, and that's what we are going to do next. All right, then, since the data successfully saved in the cloud, but we are not getting to our local state, so what might be an issue? So let's do some console log over here. So console.log, and let's say templates, comma, templates, save these changes, and let's open the console. We are not getting anything. Refresh it. So we are not. So here, data, name data. Okay. So there is an issue on get templates function. I think so. Maybe this is the place where we are getting an issue. This is the place. Return, new, promise, resolve, and reject, template, query, collection, DB object. It's going to be templates, order by, timestamp, unsubscribe. It's going to be subscribe, on snapshot, template, query snap. Open it, const templates equal to query snap dot docs dot map. Get that doc. Oh my bad. Data function. That's what the issue. All right. So now if you refresh the changes, and if you go here, and here we go. See, now you got your template details. So one small bracket that causes a large issue. All right, so now we figured out what's the mistake. So now all we have to do is to render this template just exactly what we are doing over here. So that's what we are going to do next. All right then, so now all we have to do is to go ahead and then click this render option. So we have to render that complete detail from the database. So what we have to do is, since we already have the template informations, so in the right side container over here, all we have to display the record. So that's what we are going to do now. So let's jump to the create templates and go to the location exactly where we are having that the templates options and everything. So since we already break it into the columns, pieces and everything, so now all I have to do is to say, so this is supposed to use some paddings, so px2, and then of course it's going to take the width full and flux 1, and then padding top and bottom is going to be 4. So inside here, I'm going to make sure whether the template is loading or not. So if the template is loading, of course, we need to bring that puff loader and show that template is like loading. So if the template is loading, then I need to render this part. So react dot fragment, enter. If not, react dot fragment. All right. So if the data is loading, this is the content that we need to load. So if you save the changes and refresh it. Okay, so again my server is being crashed. No such a file or directory. Maybe let me resolve this. So all I have to do is to delete the node modules folder, delete it. Sometimes it might resolve the issues. So it's been deleted. And now let me install it one more time, yawn. So it's downloading all the necessary packages one more time. So let's wait until it's successfully downloaded. It's downloading. Come on, make it fast. All right, so it's successfully downloaded. And now let me start the server. All right, there is no issues. It started. Okay. And now you can see it. Oh, so if I refresh it, you can see it's showing that loading animation part. Okay. So if it is have the templates, then of course what I need to do, if it is having the templates and the templates dot length is greater than 0, which means I have something to display, right? So I'm going to create a react dot fragment, react dot fragments. All right. So if the templates and the templates dot length is greater than 0, I need to render and display if it is not, all I have to say it doesn't have anything to display it over there. So in that part, what I'm going to do, all I'm going to do is to display the exact same puff loader over there. And along with that, I'm going to bring one more text called no data. That's it. Okay. So because now we have some data in it, so we can't see that. So if you have the data in it, which means I have something to display. So I'm going to render that templates dot map. Using the map method, I'm going to get that template information and I'm going to render it. Use the normal brackets, don't use the functional brackets. So I'm going to create a div inside here and I'm going to supply the key from the template. I'm having the underscore ID property, and here I'm just going to display the template title for the time being now. So let's get the template dot title. Save the changes. You should get the template title from your database, right? So it's working now. So what I'm going to do is, all we have to do is to class name, width is going to be full, height is going to be 500 pixels. I'm going to fix the height, then rounded medium, then overflow, it's going to be hidden, and the position is going to be relative position. Inside this, I'm going to bring an image tag and I'm going to alter the source template dot, let's get the image URL property, open this and image URL, copy it, paste it over here, then get the class name, width is going to be full, height is going to be full, and object is going to be cover. All right, save changes. So now you should be able to see the image. There we go, it's displaying the image. Okay, so problem is with the image, what happens if I delete over here, delete this? Okay, if I delete it from here, but here it's perfectly fine. Maybe the problem is we are not written any styles for your parent division, right? So this entire part, it's need to be wrapped inside one more division, and inside that division only we need to render that. So this division is going to be basically a grid system. So width, of course, it's going to be full, and height, of course, it's going to be full, and grid column initially for small screen is going to be 1. From the large screen onwards, grid column, it's going to be 2 columns. From 2XL onwards, grid columns, it's going to be 4 maximum. And then gap between each and everything is going to be 4. Save these changes. Now you should be able to see that. It's looking good, right? So the next important part, let's see. Let me add one more thing. So project manager professional resume. Click it and choose the template to create. Make sure that you're choosing the exact image name template 2 and that template 2. So that's the reason, that's the main point over here. Choose some tags and click save. All right, look at that. See, immediately we are fetching back and we are displaying the details. So now all we have to do is to implement the delete option, and that's it. All right then, so let's go ahead and implement the delete option. So we are going to make sure that the remove template option is working perfectly fine. So what I'm going to do is, so I need to bring a delete action over there. So what I'm going to do is, basically I'm going to use the exact same option what I did for this cover image. So let me go here, file upload, and I'm going to copy this exact same stuff from here. This is the tag. Okay, this is the place it's getting end. Copy this including the comment. Let's change the file name, the function name later, and I'm going to put it inside this this division right after this image tag. Delete action. Don't worry about this delete. So I'm just going to call a callback function. I'm going to say remove template. I'm going to send that template information over there. So copy this function name. Let's go to the top and right after here. So const remove template, open an async method. So this function is to function to remove the data from the cloud. So save changes. Now you should be able to see that delete action. So now inside this delete action button, so what are we supposed to do? So we need to make sure, so whenever you're trying to delete the data from this collection over here, you have to delete the image as well as from the storage. So first I need to remove this image, and then I need to remove that data from the Firestore. So over here, I'm just going to create, so we have const delete reference equals to reference of storage template. So we have to get the template information over here. That's what we are passing it. Inside the template, we have that what information we do have. Okay, what's that image URL? Copy this object. We have that image URL. We have to delete that image URL. So await delete object, delete that delete reference, then open it, call a callback function, open it. Inside here, if it is successfully deleted that image, I'm going to get that, I'm going to delete that object. So await delete doc, delete the doc, open it. So this is supposed to be an async function because we are trying to delay over here. So delete. So inside here, I'm going to supply that doc, get it, get the DB from the templates. So make sure that you don't misspell it. So templates. So that's the collection name that we do have. So don't misspell it. From the templates, I'm going to delete that template dot underscore ID. That's the ID I'm trying to delete. If everything is working perfectly fine, then call a callback function. Inside here, I'm just going to say toast dot success, open it, template removed, template or template deleted from the cloud. And then I need to refetch the data. So templates refetch. So if there is any issue when we are trying to do here, so catch, get that error object, open it, and simply display that error message, what error message that we are getting over there. Save these changes. All right. So now all we have to do is to try to delete it. So if I click this, there we go. So the template is being removed. So now this is supposed to be one data, fine. If you go to the storage and if you go to the templates folder, you should have only one template because we deleted the template 2. So if I delete this one too, if I delete this too, we don't have anything. So that's the reason we are getting the data as no data. There we go. So we successfully finished the admin part over here. So now we can able to add a template by the admin, and you can see now it's showing everything perfectly fine how it's supposed to be. So the next part is going to be the most important part, where we are going to create the home screen and the edit templates options and create resumes options, the most important part. And before that, we need to make sure, we need to secure this URL. So every time when the user tries to implement this URL directly, by typing this URL directly in the browser, we are not supposed to allow the user, right? So we need to, before loading that template, we need to make sure whether the login user ID is inside our ID details or not. So before rendering this written statement, before rendering this complete division, what I'm trying to do is I need to make sure whether the admin ID, whether the logged in user ID is inside our admin ID or not. So using the use effect method, open it, and that's going to be take an array dependency injection. If it is loading, that means if the template is loading, okay, and I need the user information now. So I need to fetch the user information. So by using the user hook, where we are giving the template, so right after here, so const equals to use user hook, I need to get the data colon user, comma is loading. So over here, I'm trying to check that if the user object is there, user object, and then if the user is loading, if there is any changes in the state, I need to re-render this use effect method, and I need to double check that user object is there or not. If not is loading, if the user state is not loading, and as well as if not admin IDs dot include the user dot UID, then we need to navigate the user. So we need to get that user navigate hook. So right after here, const navigate equals to use navigate hook. So using that navigate object, I'm going to navigate the user to home route and replace the current route to true. So this will make sure every time whenever the user typing this URL directly, he will not permitted to see this UI. So he will be redirected to the home screen. If he is not that admin, he will be redirected to the home screen. And now all we have to do is to go ahead and customize the home screen. All right, people. So before jumping into the home screen, all we have to do is to push this data into our GitHub, right? So let's push our data into the GitHub. So open your Git control, and these are the files which we haven't yet committed. So give a message over here. Let's say changes, and let's say let's say like, what to say, authentication and admin part completed. So click the commit. So this changes will be committed. So there we go. So it's committed. And let me go to the pull or push option and choose the push to option and choose your private GitHub repository. So the entire code will be pushed to your GitHub. And let me get back to my GitHub profile, GitHub, and let me open my repositories. In that, this is the private repository which we created for the resume builder. And here we go. Changes, authentication, and admin part. The changes and everything is successfully committed to our GitHub profile. All right. So that's it. I'll see. And then the next part is going to be the home UI, and the remaining part is going to be really interesting. So all right, people, so hope you guys are so enjoyed these sessions, the day 2 series of these sessions. So even if you're having any questions or related this part of this series, so you can drop the questions in the comment sections, and I will definitely help you out. So I hope you guys are so excited. So hit the like and subscribe button, and that will encourage me to come up with the more innovative projects and mostly a real-time projects. So sorry for keep delaying you. I keep making you to wait for a very long time. I'm really working hard on this projects to come to bring it to you live. So support me and hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks a lot. I'll see you on the day 3 series.